cannot come soon enough. Under crooked Joe Biden, our country is dying. Our country is dying. Our border is open and gushing. It's a big gushing wound, letting drugs, crime, and millions upon millions of illegal aliens pour into our country like we've never seen before. Nothing like this has ever happened to our country before. It's also the #1 place on earth for a thing called human trafficking. #1 place. Our border has become a weapon of mass destruction, our destruction. You know, it's ours. It's a weapon of mass destruction. It's our destruction. We're destroying our country. And as I've been saying for so many years, this is an invasion. It's an invasion of our country. On behalf of all Americans who want a strong and secure border, I want to express our thanks to Governor Greg Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. And the great state of Texas, where we right now have about a 40-point lead for rightly invoking the invasion clause of the U.S. Constitution. It is an invasion. But we didn't need to do it just 3 years ago. We didn't need anybody's help because we had the safest border in U.S. history 3 years ago. We didn't need anybody's help. Today we have a catastrophe waiting to happen. It's a terrible situation. Never had anything like it before. It's the worst border anywhere in the history of the world, and I believe that includes other countries. There's never been a country where millions and millions of people are able to flow in with no vetting, no checking, no nothing. We don't know who they are. We don't know where they come from. They're pouring into our country, and they're coming from prisons. They're coming from mental institutions and insane asylums. They're human traffickers. They're coming in. They're drug dealers. They're coming in. We have no idea, and we have no idea what we're doing with our country. Our country's going to hell because of incompetent or bad people. Terrorists are pouring in unchecked from all over the world. We have more terrorists now. In 2019, I never really believed this fully, but I know we did a good job on it. In 2019, remember, they said they had no terrorists. They do these checks. I don't know. None sounds like something Trump would say, to be honest. That say, oh, only Trump would say. They actually have it down. It's a report, and it says none. And then the following 2 years later, they have record number of terrorists now pouring into us. Same report, record number of terrorists coming into our country. And there's a 100% chance that there will be a major terrorist attack in the United States, or many attacks maybe. And it's all because of what's happened over the last 3 years. When I'm president, instead of trying to send Texas a restraining order, I will send them reinforcements. Instead of fighting border states, I will use every resource, tool, and authority of the U.S. president to defend the United States of America from this horrible invasion that is taking place right now. There's never been anything like it. Texas will be given full support, and I will deploy all necessary military and law enforcement resources to seal up the final section of border. You know, we built over 500 miles of wall, fortunately, but they are just, what they're doing is just not even, it's not even believable. You know, usually you like to know the other side, and you like to know where the other side's coming from. Nobody to this day can explain why this open wound is good for our country. And even politically, why is it good politically? First of all, with the Hispanic vote, we're doing better now than the Democrat Party. So I think it's good for us. But we're going to seal the border, complete it, and we're going to repeal the invasion. You know, remember that in 2016 when I campaigned, everybody remembers that, we had a very bad border. Nothing like today. And I solved the problem. Then when I ran in 2020, and by the way, got the most votes in the history of any president, sitting president, running for president. We got the most vote. We got more votes than any other sitting president. Think of that. But we had a campaign, and we did great in that campaign. Frankly, we did much better in 2020 than we did in 2016, but something happened. Not going to happen this time. Something happened. Bad things happened. But anyway, I didn't have the border to run on because I did such a good job with the border that the border wasn't an issue. And I went backstage to all of my people. I said, I want to talk about the border. Sir, nobody cares about the border. You solved the problem. I said, so I did such a good job. I took it out of play. And now I'm saying the border is in play like it's never been in play before, because what they've done is they've taken all of the things that I did to make it so good. Literally, we couldn't put it in a speech. Nobody wanted to hear about the border. We had no border problem. We had the strongest border we've ever had in history. But now we can talk about the border because it's never, ever been worse than it is now. I don't think any border in the entire world has ever been worse. Third world countries would fight with sticks and stones to keep people out in that kind. That's incredible. I believe that the number by the end of the Biden administration will be close to 18 million people. That's bigger than New York State. I believe that's going to be the real number. That's the real number. 18 million people. And who does it hurt the worst? African Americans and Hispanics. It hurts the Hispanics and the African Americans first. And when you look at the poll numbers, how well we're doing with Hispanics and African Americans, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They're a little concerned, the Democrats on the left. It was just announced that 302,000 illegal aliens trespassed across our border last month. 302,000. That's an all-time, by the way, that's an all-time record. There's never been a number like that. Last month, 302,000. That's bigger than most cities in our country. Yet unbelievably, rather than helping Texas to build our border security up, crooked Joe Biden is fighting Texas to tear our beautiful border security down. They're cutting all the wire. Let's cut the wire. Let everybody in. No. They want open borders. They could have solved, in 3 weeks, I would have been able to get another 150 miles of wall up. Think of that. All they had to do, the wall was there. All they had to do is put it up. It was all set to be put up. And you know what they did? They sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. They sold it as scrap. They want to have open borders, and you're going to remember that come November. And now they're trying to blame anybody that they can. They're going to blame your great Lieutenant Governor who's here. I appreciate it. We're going to introduce him in a second. They're going to blame you. They're going to blame the governor. They're going to blame me. They're going to blame everybody. They're going to blame Leo. They're going to blame Leo 2.0. Look, Leo. They're going to blame you, Leo. But Leo can handle it. That's what Leo can handle it. Thank you. But let there be no doubt, what Joe Biden is doing is a crime against our nation. It's an absolute betrayal of our country, and it's an atrocity against our Constitution. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Crooked Joe will not get away with these crimes. He will be tried at the ballot box in November. And you will go back to having the strongest border, even stronger than I gave you, but we'll take that too. We'll take anything when you look at what's happened to our country. And with your vote, he will be judged and convicted by the American people of this atrocity that he's done. Nobody can believe what's happened. Under the Trump administration, we ended catch and release. Remember catch and release? You know what release is? We release them into our country, criminals. What do? I murdered someone. He comes from a jail. We release them into our country. We got Mexico to send 28,000 troops. Remember this, 28,000 troops. And you think that was easy, don't you? It wasn't easy. I had to tell the president of Mexico, we want you to send us 28,000 troops. He said, you have to be kidding. Yeah, he's a very smart guy. He actually is a great guy. I like him. He's a socialist, but that's okay. You know, you can't have everything. But no, he's a great guy. He said, I'm not going to send you 28. Why would I send you 28,000? Which is what anybody here would say. I said, no, you will. 100% sure you will. He said, I'm not sending troops. I said, you will. Send me your rep. I don't want to get into an argument with you. I like you too much. Send me your top negotiator. And he sent this very handsome guy. And he actually came into New York, and I met him in New York. Can you believe that? And we met during the United Nations, and I said, we need 28,000 soldiers. We need remain in Mexico. We need catch and release in Mexico. This is now catch and release in Mexico. There's a little difference, right? Not catch and release in the USA. But I went to the Border Patrol, Brandon Judd, fantastic. I went to Tom Homan. Separately, I went to a whole group of incredible patriots, and I said, give me the top 10 things. And I was dealing with a woman from the State Department who's a very quality woman, but a lousy negotiator. And she said she was there 24 years. And she said, I worked in Mexico for 24 years, so you're not going to get any of these things. I said, give me a top 10 list, top 10. Give me 10 things you want. I'll get every one of them. Sir, you won't. And they gave me a top 10 list. Brandon Judd, all the guys, they know exactly. They gave me that 10, and I put it down, and I said, I'll get every one of these things. And then he came in, the gentleman came in, tall, handsome, obviously from Mexico. I said, where did you buy your suits? I love your suit. Where did you buy it? I said, I'm going to that shop right away. I think it's beautiful. And I said, how much did you pay for your suit? I said, now let's get down to business. We want you to give us 28,000 soldiers free of charge. He said, oh, you gotta be. We're not going to do that. Why the hell, sir? Why would we do that? I want to be respectful, sir, but we wouldn't even think about it. Yes, you will, 100%. He said, no, we won't. I said, you will. He said, no way. I said, way. And then I said, I want you to have a policy now I'm going to institute. It's called Remain in Mexico. They had to agree to it. They said, we're not going to let you. You're talking about hundreds of thousands of people. I said, maybe millions, because the way they're coming up in the caravans, a name I came up with, by the way, I'm very proud of that name. I came up with fake news. Look at all the fake news back there. I came up with a lot of good names. Came up with a lot of good names. I said, no, we want to remain in Mexico policy. Nobody ever even heard of that. Remain in, it sounds nice, right? Not remain in the USA, remain in Mexico until they can be vetted, which might take about 3 years. And I said, remain in Mexico. I want catch and release in Mexico. And I wanted other Title 42. I wanted Title 42 to keep people that had big problems out. I wanted a policy where we bring children back to their parents, wherever they may be. And we had that very strongly. All things that they said, no. He kept saying no. I said, listen, you're saying no to everything, right? Yep. Here's the story. These 10 things, I want them. I'm going to give you one last chance. We can't do it, sir. We just can't. I said, here's the story. It's Friday at 4 o'clock on Monday morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. Every single item, especially the cars that you stole out of the USA to manufacture them in Mexico, every single thing that comes into the United States is going to have a 25% tariff. And in 2 weeks, if you don't approve it, in 2 weeks, the 25 goes to 50%. Every single item. So we want 28,000 soldiers. We want remain in Mexico. We want catch and release in Mexico. We want all of these things. I gave him 5 other things which were almost as bad. And he said, sir, may I have 5 minutes to make a phone call? I said, you're going to call the president? Yes, I am. He calls the president, comes back in about 2 minutes. Sir, it would be our great honor to supply the United States with 28,000 soldiers. Great honor. It would be our great honor, sir. And that was how I got all that stuff. And then Biden comes in, the first week he let it all go. Just very sad. You know, you've seen a lot of him at the beach. We all have consultants. The thing is, I don't listen to mine enough. I should listen. But we've been right about it, almost everything.